The Dragon Ball franchise in 2025 is about to go up. It's about to be insane. From Dragon Ball Daima introducing some insane stuff, Dragon Ball Super's manga being announced to be somewhat returning, and ultimately everything within this franchise is about to be something that I think Dragon Ball fans are going to be very excited about. And based on everything that's been told to us, yeah, we got to talk about this because it looks like the Dragon Ball franchise is about to be returning to its glory days in a major way. And while you're at it, subscribe and hit that bell to get all notifications from my videos if you want to be updated on everything and anything anime and manga related. Dragon Ball Super's manga has been on hiatus for quite some time. Obviously, we had the terrible, news, the passing of Akira Toriyama. Rest in peace to the legend forever. Dragon Ball Super's manga since then has kind of been, at a standstill. Nothing has moved forward since then. And even before that, some fans felt like, man, what's going on with the Dragon Ball Super story, dude? Like, we had the readaptation of the superhero movie into manga form. They didn't even do that with the Broly film, which is kind of crazy. Like, if anything, a Broly film manga adaptation probably would have been a little more enticing and a little more exciting to read on a monthly basis than the superhero stuff, which the superhero stuff was still pretty good too. I mean, I didn't follow the manga per se, but I watched that movie so many damn times that it was like, nah, Orange Piccolo, bro, Beast Gohan, two of the greatest of the series that always get neglected or shafted for one reason or have historically been. And now finally they decided to kind of maneuver them to the forefront. That was just incredible. And honestly, it's kind of crazy to think that outside of GT, those two are the last ones canonically to have the major spotlight in the timeline, because even the news that I'm about to talk about that came out of Jump Festa, I think is all still going to technically take place prior to that event. So canonically, timeline wise, Beast Gohan and Orange Piccolo are the last ones to really shine brightly and epically, and I love it. I ain't gonna lie, I love that for the guys because they're some of the goats, you know what I'm saying? But the news that we got is that the Dragon Ball Super manga will be somewhat returning. It's not the big, oh my god, it's back, yes, we're picking up with Black Frieza and all that stuff that, let's keep it real, we've been wanting to see the Black Frieza arc, come on now, or whatever's supposed to come next. Obviously, timeline-wise, the last thing that we had saw in the manga, they did do that conclusion where they were fighting and they had that one last round or whatever, but Black Frieza was the last big foreshadowing of what's to come whenever we have another threat. Whether he returns as a threat will remain to be seen. Obviously, Frieza's character has kind of been a little more multi-layered since the Tournament of Power. If you look at it very closely, like, I don't want to say it was a redemption aspect, but he did. You got to give Frieza the credit of whether he did it for selfish reasons or not. He helped save the universe. I just gotta throw it in there. And I'm not a Frieza guy. I'm not big like, oh yeah, Frieza. At the end of the day, what he represents is just, horrible stuff. But ultimately, you gotta give him his credit. And the reason I even thought of this was because somebody, I think it was like on Facebook, I seen like a poll where somebody was like, out of all of these villains, which one is the most redeeming or something of that? It was a couple of different characters. But I remember thinking to myself, out of all of them, Frieza's the only one that did somewhat of a good deed. Because without Frieza's involvement in the Tournament of Power, things don't go the way they go. The universe doesn't get saved, even though we already know that aspect. But Frieza being a part of that was a major aspect. So Frieza returning with the Black Frieza form, even though, yeah, he kicked Goku and Vegeta's tail and knocked them down and went off. I don't know if he comes back and completely is back to, I'm gonna destroy, like, I don't know if he's gonna do that, if they're gonna go that route with Frieza. I guess, that will remain to be seen, because the manga is going to be returning with a Goten and Trunks hero story. Dragon Ball Super by Toyotaro will be publishing a new one-shot manga in upcoming V-Jump issue number 4, February 2025. More details will be revealed in the future, and the imagery that came along with it was an image of Trunks, Goten, and some sort of, I'm assuming he's a superhero. He looks heroic. He's all purple with a yellow cape, and he has like a broom. And so I'm assuming it's going to pick up as far as the events go of like the superhero stuff that they have. Because remember, before the superhero movie adaptation, they had that small little arc of Goten and Trunks trying to be like Gohan. So this is probably going to be something in that realm. Is it exactly what us Dragon Ball fans been wanting? Is it exactly the thing that we're like, oh mate, I really need more Dragon Ball? Like, clearly that's not what we wanted. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like superhero stuff. I've actually throughout the years grown more fond of Great Saiyaman and all of that aspects, but keeping it real, keeping it legitimate, being honest, all of that stuff. People want to continue on with the story with Goku, Vegeta, and Black Frieza, and all of the universal stuff that was set up ages ago. Literally, that's so crazy how they set up the 12 universes and all the gods and all the possibilities and Planet Saddle and all of these things that is just literally sitting there, and they haven't done anything with. Like, we went a total different direction with the superhero movie stuff, which again, it was a nice wholesome feel. It was a good feel for Dragon Ball to take it in a different direction. But ultimately, there's so many pieces to a grandiose puzzle just sitting out there. And obviously, without Toriyama, I don't know what they can and cannot do. There's also some, which I won't get into, but there's some stuff behind the scenes that has been going on for quite some time since before Toriyama passed. That kind of also is a reason why the Dragon Ball manga is at a standstill. It's kind of a muddy situation as to what's going on. Probably this is the best course of action that they can take in order to bring Dragon Ball back is, well, why don't we return back to the time period that we last left off, but it's going to be like a one-shot, maybe, I don't want to say filler, but essentially like a one-shot filler-ish type of story just to bring it back because it's been so long. And I'm excited for Dragon Ball Super's manga to come back, but if we just get this one shot and it's another 6 months without a word of what's happening with Dragon Ball Super's manga moving forward, that's going to be disappointing because regardless of Daima and whatever else they have cooking, Dragon Ball Super, first of all, the manga still hasn't got adapted past the point of, well, outside of the superhero stuff, but past the point of the Broly situation. We haven't got the Moro arc, the Granola arc. Like, there's still a lot of stuff that we would love to see animated, and it's just like suspended in animation, so to speak, as far as the Dragon Ball Super world. And it's like, bro, what the heck? You got us all invested into Dragon Ball Super and you just, you know what I mean? But again, I know that the situation is very delicate right now. Toriyama's passing, the behind the scenes stuff that, you know, there's battles with corporations. There's so many different aspects. So I understand to a certain degree as to why things are like that. And this is probably, again, them thinking like, yo, the fans want more. What are we doing here? Also, I think by that point on February, I want to say Daima will be wrapping itself up soon because Daima is like, what, 20 episodes? So maybe by that point too, that could be the start. This one shot, gauge what people are saying, how people are feeling, what the readership is looking like, and go forward from there. That's what I'm assuming is the plan for the future of the Dragon Ball Super manga. I'm sure people want to see like some epic imagery. Like I saw a fake leak that was rolling around of like, it looked like Janemba's arm or something, and people were like, whoa, is that real? Janemba's arm holding like Tapion's sword or something. It was very interesting and a lot of people were going crazy. Going back to just kind of this more slice of life aspect, stuff like that. Again, fans like myself, no, why not? Let's have some fun. But majority of Dragon Ball fans is like, they want to get back to the feel that they had with the Tournament of Power. They want to get back to that feel, and I understand it because going back to Dragon Ball Z or whatnot, that's what a lot of people signed up for. You saw these, you know, crazy alien dudes screaming and punching each other, and it brought you in. And then you got the story and the characterization and the plot twist and all that stuff that kept you with Dragon Ball all these years. Frieza also murdered billions of people, and that's 100% facts. 100% facts. And I don't know if we're gonna do mathematical equations on, well, this one only killed millions, this one killed billions. Frieza is a piece of garbage and one of the worst villains in history in general. By no means am I caping for Frieza. By no means am I a Frieza fan or anything like that. I was just strictly speaking that it is a fact, story-wise, that Frieza did do something redeemable worthy as far as just that he helped to save the universe. His motives obviously selfish. He wanted to get that wish to come back to life, yada yada. That's all strictly, I'm speaking on that. Factually, in the story, he did help to save the universe, but Frieza's still a piece of garbage. The guy appears to be the same cleaner hero that Goten and Trunks were idolizing in the Super manga. I mean, the design is cool. He looks like classic superhero type of stuff, but I don't know. I think this should just go forward doing movies for Dragon Ball Super, to be honest, to adapt more on Granola. Can you truly, faithfully, to the satisfaction of the fandom, adapt the Moro arc into a film? Even 3 films? Can 3 films really cover the entirety of the Moro arc and condense it properly? I mean, 3 films probably, but do you think they're going to invest a budget for 3 films for Moro when they want to just get that big money? You know, a film standing by itself 9 times out of 10, unless it's like a Broly type of deal, will always make more money than going with, as far as anime goes. Obviously trilogies do work, and, you know, continuing on, look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I'm not saying this as a definitive thing involving all stuff, but oftentimes, like with Dragon Ball movies, they want to do the next story. They don't want to stay on, like, look what happened with Broly in the original DBZ films. The first Broly film was, to this day, the most iconic thing. Oh my god, it was crazy. Introduced the legendary Super Saiyan. The second Broly film, okay, Gohan, Goten, and Trunks put in work, and we had the father sons Kamehameha. Okay, that was cool. And then we get Bio Broly. You know what I'm saying? One movie to put in all of Moro would be horrible, pacing wise, cutting things out, and then they're not going to do 3 movies for Moro. So our best bet would probably be for the TV anime to return. just realistically. Dragon Ball needs to expand the Frieza race lore. We barely know anything about them, and it has been over 20 years. I mean, we know some of the Frieza lore. If you go deep into the Dragon Ball stuff, like, I forgot what game it was that introduced that. I think it is supposed to be canonically at some point Kuriza, the son of Frieza or the child of Frieza, that at some point is canon to the story. There's also the ancestor that was the one that witnessed Bardock going Super Saiyan. Then there's Frieza, there's King Cole, and Cooler is not canon technically yet, which I saw this on some social media platform recently, and I thought that this was so facts that they really could have taken the opportunity, opposed to going with Frieza again and all the times that they go with Frieza again, to introduce Cooler. The spot that Frieza has occupied in the Dragon Ball Super story since his, you know, reintroduction or whatnot, realistically could have been Cooler. And it sounds like I'm trying to say like, yo, he could have been a cooler dude, bro. No, but like, that could have been Cooler, opposed to it just being Frieza again. As long as the reception was what they were looking for, Toei would have went full blown with Cooler. But I understand that Frieza is more iconic, and at the end of the day, Dragon Ball franchise, they're a business, you know, they're a corporation, they're a franchise, they want to make money. So Frieza is the one that the algorithms is the worst inception to the internet and humanity. I want to say, like, one of the worst things ever. Algorithms is the reason why, if you boil everything down to it, algorithms is the reason why you get Frieza instead of Cooler, because Frieza is more searched, Frieza is more embedded in algorithms, Cooler is not. You get rid of algorithms online, you get Cooler. You get rid of algorithms online, you get no more movie remakes. You get rid of algorithms and you change the entire world. And it's also, I guess, the people programming algorithms. So if we had more sensible people that were programming the algorithms, maybe algorithms wouldn't be as bad. Cooler becomes canon, then gets defeated. Then next movie, Cooler and Frieza, that would have been huge. Cooler and Frieza, and then you do a fusion of Cooler and Frieza versus Gogeta. Let's talk about Dragon Ball Daima. Boom, the great segue from the Dragon Ball Super aspects. Dragon Ball Daima, I'm not even gonna lie, because if you've seen, I have a video up. It was like the last time I think I even spoke about Dragon Ball Daima, and I pretty much was like, yo, this disappointing. I think that was like up to episode 4, and I ain't gonna lie, my opinion on Dragon Ball Daima has grown a bit, has changed a bit, but ultimately I still stand wholeheartedly with how I felt about those first few episodes. In fact, I want to say up to about episode 6 or 7 of Daima, my opinion did not change from that very first video that I made. And I'm just being very honest about it. My opinions on Dragon Ball Daima was very much so that. Like, yo, this is disappointing. It felt very sluggish. I will say that for a Dragon Ball series, it is one of the slowest starts of any Dragon Ball series I've ever seen. And it's crazy because on the internet, on the interwebs, you're not allowed to say that. You're not allowed to speak that, because immediately the next response is going to be, you never seen OG Dragon Ball. You're just one of those people that hop on the bandwagon. Homie, I've been a Dragon Ball fan since like I was a little kid. What are you know what I'm saying? What are we doing here right now? I hate that that's one of the main arguments, that if you don't like Dragon Ball Daima, you are not a real Dragon Ball fan. So if the next episode of Dragon Ball Daima is a freaking entire episode of just Goku taking a dump and telling jokes, which there was one episode that was an aspect of it, but if the entire episode is just that, oh man, but original Dragon Ball had poopy jokes too. Like, we're supposed to just eat it all up, huh? We're not supposed to think at all for ourselves of what we feel. We're just supposed to, online they said, to be real Dragon Ball fan, you must accept whatever comes from Daima. Yo, where's Ed Lover? Come on, son. Come on. What are we doing here, bro? No, I'm sorry. The first few episodes of Dragon Ball Daima were very sluggish or whatnot. However, after a certain point, once they bring Vegeta and Piccolo and them back into the fold, once they start having the battles against the people that are holding the Dragon Balls in the demon verse, in the demon world or whatnot, the demon realm, once we get to that aspect of the story, that's where it actually starts to grow. That's where it actually starts to get to an element of, okay, I'm rocking with it. From episode 7, 8-ish, when everybody starts getting back into the story, I feel like that's where it started to pick up. I feel like that's where I was like, okay, I'm intrigued. Then we had the introduction to something that at first, again, and this is why I will say that it's never a good idea, and I stand on this, to judge characters based off of their character designs. And what I mean by that is the Majin characters. Somebody was sending me like sheets of the character designs as it was coming out, and they were like, yo, what do you think about this? And at first I'm like, I don't know, we'll see and whatnot. Then when the episode started to air, between the lore mix of finding out, wait a minute, so Majin Buu was originally created by this person, not actually Bibbidi. Bibbidi kind of, I don't want to say it was a fraud, but it wasn't Bibbidi that created Buu, and then the Cybermen seeds origins. Like there was a lot of aspects that I was like, okay, we're cooking. Now we're actually doing something that isn't just, oh mate, we're running around with Dragon Balls, you know, we're trying to do it like OG Dragon Ball. Now we're actually contributing to the story of Dragon Ball. Now we're actually doing something that is like, all right, this is worthwhile. And I'm not just talking about, because I know a lot of people are waiting for the transformations. Whenever we're gonna get the new transformations that they're inevitably going to include, whether it be a new demon form for Goku and Vegeta, which every series loves to, you know, the fans love to with every series say, oh, Vegeta Super Saiyan 3, like whatever the case may be, that's gonna be okay, cool. But I love when it starts to add, again, substance to the story to make you go back and like, oh, so, and then this is a god that is even grander than all the gods, which they love doing that with Dragon Ball. It's like, at first you think, okay, the Supreme Kai is the ultimate Kai. Then you find out that he's just one of like multiple planets, and then it keeps on going above and beyond and whatnot. Like now they kind of one-upped it again. It's like, wait, no, but this is the guy that created everything. So I feel like Daima has actually added a lot more to the Dragon Ball story than initially it was making me feel. Like, again, initially it just wasn't doing much. It was like, all right, we got some sort of story, and Goku is going on a mission, and hey, Goku's a kid again, and hey, here's some new characters. And I think also a lot of it, and I've stated this before, the cast of characters, just Goku, Supreme Kai, and this newly added character Glorio, that is with his ulterior motives. That wasn't a great cast. Goku can't carry the show by himself. Supreme Kai was never the most like, oh my god, like Supreme Kai is cool. When he first showed up with Kibito, that was probably the pinnacle of like, yo, who is this dude? You got Piccolo quaking in his boots and stuff, like what's going on here? As it developed and whatnot, I was like, all right. Glorio, he felt like he was fresh out of the Dragon Ball games in Japan, like one of those just original characters that Toriyama didn't design. I don't know if Toriyama designed that character in particular. So the cast initially was just not something that could hold my attention. But once you brought in Piccolo, Vegeta, and all of them back into things, and they met up with Goku, and they're having battles with all of these people to get the Dragon Balls, and we got new lore and the new Majins, Majin Du and Majin Ku, I'm here for it. It's a little wacky. Those are aspects that are very much so realistically Toriyama stuff, like the joke of Majin Ku with the shopping. Is it Majin Ku or Majin Du, the Cyberman looking one, that he'll go shopping for Arin Su? Like those are Toriyama joke stuff all day. A lot of the stuff that more recently Daima has introduced has been to its benefit and grabbed my attention more so than like the beginning, because it was just like, bro, what are we doing here? Did they say how many episodes in the season of Daima? Daima's 20 episodes. Oh, that's another thing with Daima. I'm sure a lot of people kind of feel a little bit left out of Daima because there's a lot of Dragon Ball fans that don't want to watch it in Japanese. I don't blame you. If it wasn't for me starting like the YouTube stuff, I don't know if I would have started sub anime. It was that, bro, there's this show, I want to watch it, let me watch it in Japanese with the subtitles, give it a try. Oh, I can actually do this. And then that's how I kept on watching anime in Japanese with subtitles. But originally that was not something I was into. So with Daima, I feel I don't want to say they gypped fans, but it's definitely disappointing for a lot of fans that why do they gotta wait all the way till January? It's like by the time the show is down to like the last couple of episodes, that's when the dub fans get it. And it's like, I guess maybe they look at it as two separate fandoms altogether, the people that watch dub and sub, because there's a lot of people, millions I'd imagine, of Dragon Ball fans that just only want to watch it in English. The Japanese thing is not for them. Yeah, well, you're gonna have to wait till January 10th, and that sucks, because again, Dragon Ball, a lot of people, they got into it with the English dub, you know what I'm saying? It's a little bit disappointing there. I'm assuming they're going to just release it one episode at a time. I don't think they're gonna just bulk release it then. If they release it one episode at a time, that's crazy, and it's also unnecessary. Let's be clear. At one point, there were simulcast dub on same day anime. Like that was in 2018. I remember very vividly. My Hero, so many things was same day you get the Japanese, you get the dub, choose which one you're gonna watch, boom. And then slowly but surely it was like, oh well, wait a week or two and then you could get the dub. And then now we got with Daima that wait until the show is almost over and then here's the dub, which it doesn't need to be. So this is something more of a strategic move, a financial cash grab type of move, so to speak, in my opinion, of holding back the dub for absolutely no reason. I'm not a fan of gacha games, I'm gonna be honest. At one point I dabbled in it. Like you could go on my YouTube channel, there's videos of me playing all sorts of stuff. But like, for example, Dokkan, which they're trying to suck people back into Dragon Ball Z Dokkan. I'm not getting into that again. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I'll give it to you like this, dog. The reason it's a gacha game is because once you play, your dough is conned out of your pocket, bro. Dokkan. It's the Dokkan. You dig? I'm good on that. But I'm not getting back into Dokkan. That is just straight up. I lost a lot of money back in the days on that. And all for what? Because look at, for example, the Naruto franchise. Naruto Blazing, Naruto Borutage, or whatever the heck it was called. Naruto Boruto Ninja Tribes. All of them are gone. So the people that spent hundreds and thousands of dollars on these gacha games, the moment they shut down servers, everything you spent your money on is for nothing, and it's all gone, and that was the end of it. Like, if you're gonna get into a hobby like that, go get the physical card game of something. Like, I'm sure there's a Dragon Ball card game, or, you know, whatever card game that, or series you're interested in, you want to get into, get the physical stuff. At least when it's all said and done, those things are gonna have value. 20 years from now, 30 years from now, the One Piece card game, whatever it is, you can sell those cards and make some money back or something. Maybe get more. Like, look at Pokemon. Nobody ever knew you're gonna have cards that are going for 100 grand and all sorts of crazy stuff. I would go for a physical card game collection over a gacha game 10 times out of 10, because at the very least there's actual value and there's no server button to shut down. You know, there's nobody can press a button and your binder of cards disappears. You ain't gonna get me with the gotchas. I like how we got to see the creator of the universes as well. Now we kind of know that Zeno is the destroyer and that the other guy is the creator. Forget his name. It's kind of, if you look at it, they're continuing to balance it out and mirror each other, as far as you got Beerus and Whis, you know, the angel and the destroyer, and they're gonna keep on going with that. I feel like Zeno could be changed. It's just that Zeno is an innocent kind of, I don't want to say innocent because of the stuff he could do, but Zeno is like a child, a baby. Dragon Ball still being around 40 years later is in the service of the fans. That's strictly because of the fans. Yes, that's where I'm thinking of. I think it was Xenoverse that Glorio is from. Like, his design reminds me of something from like a Xenoverse or something. I'm more dub than sub nowadays. I will 10 times out of 10, if there's a dub or a sub, if the dub is available, I'll just go with dub. I'm not really in the mind state anymore of, oh, I need to watch the sub, I need the pure form, man. No, we're not in the 80s and 90s where you're getting a Gundam War in the Pocket dub or something that it sounds like, hey G, stop. Like, yo bro, that's totally antiquated ideology of that even being a thing. That's not happening. That's not real anymore. Like, dubs for the most part are pretty good. Occasionally I'm sure there'll be something that is a little bit of a miscast, or the actor isn't living up to the role, one character or something, but 9 times out of 10 dubs are just fine, sometimes even better than the sub. Dubs are totally fine, and especially nowadays, I prefer it. Bite my tongue for no one said I meant so many ways to get you here. How I get you here. About a million ways to get you near. How I get you near. So many ways to make it happen. Quit the act and come to me. Let me see. So many ways to get you here. How I get you here.